Here are some cute little Halloween doodles you can do this October. We're using watercolor today, but you could absolutely color these in with marker. It's completely up to you. Beginning with a cute little black cat in a cauldron, we have started drawing the cauldron first. For the base of the cauldron, draw a big, wide U shape, and you could draw a straight line connecting those two ends. Or if you want to get fancy with it, have two diagonal lines going out from each of the end and then draw the straight line. For the cat, draw an arch shape and then add 2 triangles for its ears, and then a couple of football shapes for its eyes, and a small upside down triangle for its nose. Make sure you include its pupils. They could either be circles or those little slits that you always see with cats. The ghost is pretty simple to draw. Just draw a few arches in varying directions for both the head and the arms, and then 2 diagonal lines going in like a triangle shape connected by a squiggly line for the body. And then if you want him to be a trendy ghost, you can add in some sunglasses. And now for the jack-o'-lanterns, I've just done almost like a circle with like a little dent in it at the top for the stem, and then an upside down triangle for the stem itself. And then the classic faces, I've drawn a couple of examples here. So what you do is just triangles for the eyes. You could do a triangle for the nose too. And then for the smile, you draw a watermelon slice shape and then a couple of squares for the teeth. Just erase the line that connects to the watermelon slice. And for the candelabra, how do you say that word? Oh my gosh. Basically, I drew like a pitchfork shape, so like a W with a stick attached to it. And then I've created like little circles at the top of them and then little rectangles for the candles themselves. And now comes the part where we get to color it in. You could use marker, but I'm going to be using some watercolor. And for my watercolor, I'm not using a lot of water because I want my colors to be pretty pigmented, pretty bold on my paper. Also, the less water that you use, the faster it will dry. So a couple of pros there. Now for the black especially, if you don't want to have to build up the layers again and again, just add a little bit of water, enough to get it just a little bit wet, have the paint moving, and then it will go on pretty bold. Whereas if you add more water to it, you'll get this gray effect here like I'm doing for the whatever this thing is. You could also make it gold instead. You could add a little bit of like orange and yellow. It's completely up to you. And then for the cauldron, I'm actually decided to build up the black instead. So I started off with like this lighter gray wash, and then as each layer of it dries, I go over with another layer of that gray wash or black, and then that way I can really control how the shading happens with it, and I can make it look like a really round cauldron. And I like this effect because it gives it a little bit of a cartoony effect too. And because my cauldron is like this lighter shades of gray, I can make my cat really dark and bold, and then you'll be able to distinguish the cat between the cat shape and the cauldron. It won't look like just one very round cat. Instead, you'll see 2 distinct figures. So it's completely up to you if you want to make them all the exact same color and then give the illusion of this, like, oh my goodness, what is peeping out of the cauldron? Or if you want it to be very obvious of what's going on, you can build up the layers like I have. And of course, we want to make sure that black is the last color that we use and that all of our other colors are dry before we use it. Otherwise, the black will spread and it will just be a complete mess. And I'm using a very small brush throughout this whole process because I'm working with very small details. Now you'll notice I'm pretty much going against the rule that I just said where I use black last. If you use black, just make sure, as with all colors that you don't want to bleed together, make sure that they are dry before you introduce a new color. And now I'm going to outline the little ghosties and all of my drawings just to give them some detail, make them really pop, really stand out, really stylized. And I'm just using a fine tip pen for this, but you could use a marker if you like. Now I decided to focus especially on the cat's details. I really wanted to outline the eyes, make them really pop, and then I wanted to go in with a last final layer of black just to really have that contrast going. And those are 4 or I guess 5 doodles you can do for this Halloween. If you like this video, give it a like, comment what you want to see next, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for watching!